Good morning, Mr. Chicken. You're gonna be really delicious one day. Oh.
Hey guys, hope you're having a blessed day. It's Cowboy Rob here at the Last Chance Ranch. I'm not too sure we could really call it a ranch just yet, seeing as that small chicken run you see behind me is the only permanent structure we have on the property thus far. Now, I'm a fucking idiot, and I bought the chickens before the coop, so I've been rushing to get an upgraded pen as they've pretty much outgrown the small enclosures we set up for them initially. When they were babies, we had them in a couple of large plastic totes and even a metal water trough. Now, I slapped together a little rehab cage that they ended up staying in as they started to get big, because I just wanted to get their feet on the ground. That ended up being placed inside of the run and heavily insulated for the recent cold weather that we've been experiencing, which has been getting as low as the 20s at night. So, since they were almost their full size, I dropped 4 corner posts into the earth and ran a fence to give them a quick 10x10 to stretch their legs. Now, don't mind the condition of the remainder of that fence over there. I think it got run over by a truck. But it was free, and free is free. But on the plus side, now I'm pretty much an expert at untangling Christmas lights. Now, once I got the 2 doorways standing up with a crossbeam, it was time to finish the skeleton of the structure and button up a few more boards on the ground so it would all kind of stay together. Now, look, I'm really no expert builder, quite the opposite, in fact, just a dumb cowboy, but my gramps always said to be a man of many hats, so I do have, some ability. It won't be perfect, and this is totally not the way that you're supposed to do walls or anything, but we're on the side of the hill, and I didn't want to dig anymore. So finally, it can stand on its own, and it looks bad. Alright, back to more cutting. I just want to fill you guys in. I'm up on a brand new homestead in the southwest US, tackling the raw desert land and developing it to produce all the food that we need. Before I go on, I'd like to invite you guys to tag along with me and my friends as we go play Minecraft in real life. And now I'm just putting the finishing touches on that base frame. I wanted to decorate the rear of the structure and give it a little utility, so I'm going to stack a number of boards with a bit of a gap between each of them to give it that country look like I made with these seed starter tables. After getting a number of cuts out of the way, I was ready to get that rear wall finished up so that we can mount things on it. Later on, I'll reinforce those to the doorway so that they can actually hold weight. Also, once those boards are secured, the structure will be finally ready for its hat. Now, I'm out in the high desert, which can get quite cold, but also really hot. It's pretty dry all the time, so don't forget to hydrate. I set back out and loaded up the trailer with the fencing material that I was going to use for the roof. A fun story how this little blue trailer fell apart piece by piece while it was being hauled here. I arrived after it did and was handed a trailer bed, some rotted wood, and a Ziploc baggie full of nuts and bolts.
Oh, hello guys. This one's my friend right here. This is Wilbur. Hey Wilbur, how you doing, buddy? How you doing good? You having a good day, Wilbur? Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Chicken. You're gonna be really delicious one day. Oh.
I had to make a few minor adjustments to level out the structure, because I'm not a smart man. But this gave me an opportunity to add a little bit of an overhang with that beam, so I could mount something on it like a light. Now, did I mention I'm not a smart man? I ain't a math whiz or nothing, and I can't count past my own 11 fingers, but I forgot a couple of boards, so a few more cuts, and my back wall will actually be complete. And the drovers are gone. Well, let's talk about the future here a little. As I said, I'm focused on food, so chickens and a garden are top priorities. Obviously, both require water, but we experience intense monsoons here on an annual basis, and our plan is to trap as much of it as we can for later use. We're hoping to expand our livestock soon so we can create an even larger variety of foods, so that means my best friends, the goats, will be joining us not too long down the road. Personally, I need to make the land work for us, so I've got a few small industries planned out that I'll share with you all in a later video. My main goal is to get horses on the property. I've been cowboying for a couple of years now, oddly enough transitioning from a career in finance, and I've learned that I was put on this planet to work with horses. I never grew up with horses, and I only pet one for the first time 3 years ago. But I ride like the wind, fearless, as if galloping on their back were as natural as breathing. And one day, I'll produce the fastest quarter horses the Wild West has ever seen. right here on this land, and I hope you stick around to see it all. More cuts out of the way now because I discovered the semicircle needed a little support at the base to stand up correctly, so I went ahead and mounted those to the corners and got everything ready to secure the roof down. And just like that, it's hydration time again. Don't forget to hydrate. Unironically, all of your problems are because you don't hydrate enough. Well, like I said, it's time to secure the roof to the support structure itself. I'm primarily doing this with long staples and more wire ties all over the place under the wood. This is a pretty straightforward process, but it took a while because this is part of that free fencing, so it took a lot more time bending by hand off camera to get it looking somewhat decent. And you can see I marked off some angles on the top of the door frame there. I made 2 cuts there in order to help facilitate the roundness of the roof. And I think these were only 4 feet long, so I had to double them up to span the entire length of the hoop structure. So I cut another long length of fence and brought it on over so that I could secure them both together and finish the roof. After spending so long editing these clips, I just wanted to say this video is not sponsored by DeWalt. Thanks. And now I'm on to one of my favorite parts, wire tying. Anytime I get to use tie wire, I'm having like a really good time. Wire tying is a science. It's like an art, really. Basically, it's just this extruded metal wire that you can twist to secure things together, if you didn't know what that is. I like to say that I can build an entire ranch out of tie wire and hay string alone, because I certainly could. I kind of have before, really. Once these 2 fences are secured together with that tie wire, they're pretty much solid and won't come apart, so I went ahead and tackled the back wall. I again used the tie wire to join the edge of the roof to the pre-existing fence line from the chicken run. These will share a wall together and eventually a functional door so that the chickens can be sectioned off as necessary. Finally, I get to put the walls on too, so I loaded up the trailer again and brought over some wire mesh. I just needed one more cut to prepare this thing for the mesh walls to be installed. And by the way, if you're wondering what kind of wood I'm using, it's actually just your basic hardware store wood and some scrap wood that's been preserved using a Japanese method called shisugiban. It's a pretty simple technique to waterproof and bug-proof your wood and to make it more durable and slightly fire resistant. I plan on making a video of that process at a later date, so if you're interested, stay tuned. After I got the last wood support up for the walls, it was time to start getting the wire mesh cut and in place. If you take a look at my first video, you might recognize that big, beautiful desert treasure off to the side there. That great big rock turned out to be a really good helper after all. If you didn't see the video, I dug that puppy out of the ground. Putting the wire mesh up is, like the roof, pretty straightforward. You've measured your piece, now just secure it on in such a way that the predators won't be able to get through. Speaking of predators, here in this corner of the country, we get to enjoy the company of some pretty dangerous ones. Lynx, bobcat, mountain lion, coyote, javelina, and more. All eager to get in. Ooh, and look at that. Just as I was there getting that wall on, I spotted a friend on the ground. Here, take a look. I lost him 1 sec. Isn't he just the cutest? It's like a little grasshopper, he's just hanging. I like when desert friends stop by. Alright, back to the walls.
I went up from Sacramento town to the Sierra Goldfield, and I worked my stake on a river bank.
Here's where things get more interesting. I'm cutting 2 small pieces here that go on top of the ones that I just installed. And this part's fun because this portion of the wall is rounded, so I get to make lots and lots of very uncomfortable cuts for my hand to round the edges of a square grid fence. Getting it in place is rather easy, just tie wire everything that doesn't look secure, and have a little bit of patience.
It's the king of California.
With the second wall done, I needed to button up that small gap on the top so that no predator birds can fly in. I highly suggest making sure there aren't any large gaps when making livestock enclosures, no matter how high up. Even though there's a great number of dangerous animals out here in the desert, sometimes you get a little lucky and encounter an animal more friendly. What you're seeing here is a local legend. You'll only find jackalopes in the southwest United States. They're like massive rabbits with antlers. This one's clearly a female because it's smaller and didn't have any horns. Indigenous legends say that if you spot one, you're either incredibly lucky or about to embark on a mildly inconvenient adventure. Now, a lot of people think jackalopes are a hoax, but let's look at the facts here. Jackrabbits exist. Antlers exist. Coincidence? I think not. Okay guys, I hope you've been having fun watching so far, but I wanted to be real with you for a moment. We talked about goals today, dreams, and the future. I just want what's best for each and every one of you, so listen in for a sec. Even though we have them at night, dreams are born from a place of light. If you find yourself in a dark place, you'll be wandering blind trying to reach your goals. Always remember that there are people around you that care about you and want to see you succeed. Don't ever think you're alone, because you have friends and family and professionals in the support industry that are ready to have your back when you need it. Count your blessings each morning and start your every day in a positive way. Strong, positive habits like this and a support group will help keep your mind bright and healthy so that you can see the right path ahead of you clearly. The world is tough and full of bad, but always remember that when you're in your darkest place, a little light is all you need to find your way out. Now I'm on to adding the last little bit of fencing before I finish the roof. I wanted to add some chicken wire to the bottom of the walls to deter any animals from getting in or out. Since I'm only installing a transparent plastic cover over the whole building, the initial wire fence roof isn't secure enough down at the bottom. My cousin joined me here to help out with the final touches, as I needed a second set of hands. Thanks a bunch, you. I also taught her the ancient cowboy art of wire tying before we added the cover, and let her get the other side done on her own. Now that the cover was on, I had to secure it down somehow. Remember how I said I was just a dumb cowboy? Well, that went smoothly enough. I screwed blocks onto the corners so the plastic would be squeezed between the wood. This would help keep it from tearing, and afterwards I would go on to add some thick hemp rope across the length of the structure so that the wind wouldn't unnecessarily tug the cover. Since it looked more or less finished, it was time to bring Mama up to give it a look and to get her seal of approval. Since all of us and the dog went, I had to stand in the back. While a bit bumpy and precarious, it was nice to sit back and finally enjoy the view. Trees and cactus for as far as the eye can see beats the concrete jungle any day. She said it looked good. All I've got left is the door and we can call it a wrap. This part's pretty standard, just measure the hole and go cut, 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 cut. After I placed it all together, I tacked down the wire mesh and got ready to mount the door with some hinges. Once I got that up, I quickly slapped together a short gate for the inside that I made with some scrap wood. And after screwing that into place too, the build was complete.
And that is that. Thank you guys for joining me on this little ride here. I don't know really why I put this together. I've had a whole lot of fun doing it though. There's a ton of work left to do inside of here. I need to set up some like egg boxes and some kind of decorations in there. Throw some rocks around here, make it a little bit more secure and tidy it up just a little bit. But yeah, I think I'll put together a second part to this one and get it wrapped up for you guys. Again, thanks for joining in. See you next time.